The Undertaker was just name-dropped in a Marvel production, so we'll see what that means. We'll also take a look at another Bray Wyatt theory, Imperium's issues, and more. Let's start things off with everything related to Bray Wyatt. Like we went over earlier in the week, the latest actual news for Bray Wyatt's WWE status hasn't been looking so good. He's still allegedly not clear to compete in current day. But despite Bray's questionable status, that's still not stopping fans from having their fun and discussing lots of theories for Bray's eventual WWE comeback. We already covered a few fan theories involving Bray Wyatt in the Judgment Day and Bray Wyatt teaming up with Karrion Kross and Scarlett. But this theory is focused around Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns. A lot of fans out there instantly don't like to hear about the idea of Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns working together because they think it's going to possibly look similar to The Fiend and Seth Rollins from Hell in a Cell 2019. It's a tough situation because you'll have Roman Reigns, who can't lose and won't drop the title, going up against Bray Wyatt, who also can't afford to lose after returning for the first time in several months. So yes, from that perspective, it is a bit tricky and will be very hard to pull off since both men can't afford to lose to each other. But just from a storyline and storytelling perspective, the idea of a feud between them could be interesting because of all the callbacks that could be made to the start of Roman's Universal title reign in 2020. While Roman was away from WWE in 2020, the Universal title was being fought over by Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman for a while there. Bray Wyatt and Strowman even main evented that SummerSlam for the Universal title. And everyone knows the story. Bray Wyatt finally defeats Braun Strowman for the Universal title that was stolen from him by Goldberg a couple months back. But the celebration gets immediately cut off short by the returning Roman Reigns, who brutally laid out The Fiend and Braun Strowman. Fast forward 7 days later, and Roman joins the triple threat title match late to play sweep-up duty and pin Strowman for the title. Bray was never pinned for his title, lost in 7 days, never got a rematch, and never even sniffed a world title match ever since that moment. So this fan theory is for WWE to recreate those moments from summer 2020, but with the roles now being reversed. In SummerSlam 2020, it was Bray Wyatt who just barely survived a brutal match against Braun Strowman to get his hands back on the Universal title, and he was caught off guard by the surprise return of Roman Reigns. So now, 3 years later, what if Roman Reigns is the one who barely survives his SummerSlam match against Jey Uso, only to get unexpectedly attacked by the returning Bray Wyatt? Same exact scenario as 2020, but with Roman and Bray switching places. Like we mentioned a few weeks ago, it's becoming a tradition for a big return to take place at every single SummerSlam. It's been that way for a little over 4 years now, and if something like this was to go down, it would count as that yearly major SummerSlam return. And like we also talked about a while back, WWE is bringing back their Payback Premium Live event this September for the first time since 2020. Payback 2020 was of course the exact event where Roman Reigns defeated The Fiend and Braun Strowman to start his historic Universal title reign. So again, going back to that topic of the roles being flipped, what if Payback 2023 was headlined once again by Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns, just like how it was for Payback 2020. But this time around, Roman is the defending champion, and Bray Wyatt is the one that's truly looking for Payback as the challenger. So it's something that a lot of fans have been discussing, and for those full circle reasons, it would definitely be interesting to see things go down in that way. It'll play out very closely to the events of summer 2020, but with Bray Wyatt now being in the position that Roman was back then. Bray Wyatt is now the one coming off a massive hiatus with the opportunity to reinvent himself and prove his worth against Roman Reigns. Does Bray Wyatt actually have a chance to dethrone Roman Reigns if these events were to play out like that for his return? Most likely not. Bray Wyatt probably doesn't have a good shot of dethroning Roman Reigns, but the loose end between Bray and Roman dating back to 2020 is something that was never tied up. So it would be nice to see them close that chapter up once and for all. Because despite how historic Roman Reigns' title reign has become, it's still a real statistic that he technically never defeated the man that he took the title from. So if Roman faces Bray and defeats him with the title on the line, that'll get rid of that loose end for good. It'll just make for such a great moment if Roman survives Jey Uso. He somehow comes out victorious from the Bloodline Civil War. He thinks everything is smooth sailing from here on out, and then he's immediately greeted with this massive ghost of his past with Bray Wyatt. Some fans really love the idea of Roman and Bray meeting again for a story like this, but there's a lot of fans out there that absolutely hate the thought of Roman and Bray crossing paths again and want them to stay far away from each other, and both sides are definitely understandable. But that's it for the reverse Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns theory. We'll have to wait and see if those two will ever cross paths again in WWE. And in other WWE-related news, a lot of fans are freaking out about a WWE reveal that was made inside Marvel's cinematic universe. This reveal comes from a moment during episode 4 of Marvel's Secret Invasion TV series. A wrestling reference was made by one of the characters, even specifically name-dropping The Undertaker. It was a quick one-line moment, but it's pretty cool and interesting because that line is confirmation that The Undertaker and the rest of WWE exists inside the world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So in their world of superheroes and villains, the WWE somehow exists within that same world. So it was a pretty interesting confirmation and reveal that Secret Invasion made there. It hasn't been a smooth summer for WWE factions. A lot of the groups in WWE have all been having lots of issues in recent weeks. And the latest faction to join that list of factions with potential issues is Gunther's Imperium. Ever since Money in the Bank, Gunther has been on high alert because it's clear that Drew McIntyre is gunning for his Intercontinental title. Well, the July 10th edition of Raw saw Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle take on Imperium's Ludwig Kaiser and Vinci. Imperium ended up losing that match after Vinci took the pin. Gunther gathered the three of them on the ramp before scolding them and storming off to the back. Kaiser and Vinci exchanged some glances with Kaiser walking away, since Vinci was the one who took the pin. So it has fans wondering if these are early signs of serious cracks forming within Imperium, or is it only some temporary miscommunication to further set up Drew McIntyre versus Gunther at SummerSlam? That's what we'll have to monitor there. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.